All right, guys, this is crazy, but Mark Sanchez, who again former Jets quarterback, we all know about that. But like, this is actually like, dead serious. He got stabbed like last night or 2 nights ago. Well, it was at least a night ago in Indy, where again the Colts are playing the Raiders. That's why he's there. Just want to say that's about as awful a situation as there really can be, and just simply put, I hope that he again recovers from that, and that whoever did that to him gets the punishment they rightfully deserve. With that said, though, let's get into Week 5. Yeah, so update on that Mark Sanchez situation. Bro's cooked, just cooked. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. If you guys enjoy the NFL Week 5 predictions, as we will be going through all the games on Sunday. Thankfully, there's only I think 10. I might be off. I'm really off on that, but it's more like 11. Anyway, though, we have a lot of games to go through today. Not as many as last week or the week before that. But again, it is the first week with bye weeks. So again, teams on the bye this week: Falcons, Bears. They're both 2-2. We have the Steelers at 3-1 and the Packers at 2-1. So again, if you're a fan of those teams and you haven't really been locked in on them, at least after their games last weekend, they won't be playing this week. So again, I guess that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess if you're a Steelers fan. But anyway, we will be getting into the games right now. Our first game is the NFL first London game. I think there's 3 in a row now. I don't even know. I don't even know. There's one next week, and then I know the Rams are playing in Week 7. I don't know the next week's game, but we'll figure that out when we get to that. But the Vikings have their second straight international game, as they will be heading to Cleveland to take on a Browns squad that isn't very good. But again, they're coming off of not a very good game. I mean, guys, I really can only say so many good things for the Browns, outside of the fact that Dylan Gabriel, their starting quarterback. I think I might be wrong on this, but again, first ever rookie quarterback to make their NFL starting debut in international grounds. I guess that's the best way to put it. I might be wrong on that, but I'd be pretty shocked if it was anything else. Anyway, though, Vikings come in again 2-2. They just played last week in not Berlin. That's like freaking Colts and whoever in like a couple weeks. No, that's in like a month. But the Vikings, like I just said, played their internationally last week in Dublin. There we go, Ireland against the Steelers. Their offense really wasn't very good most of that game. They ended up going down by a pretty decent amount before again they started to come back at the end, and again with that again kind of stalled out in the last drive. But still, again they kept that game close late. They didn't play too bad. Their defenses looked really solid. Again, they blew out the freaking Bengals last time they were home. So, again, that's good. But, again, they will be without J.J. McCarthy once again for the third straight week. So, again, Carson Wentz show again. So, that'll be pretty interesting. For the Browns, like I said, Dylan Gabriel's first career start. Again, be very interesting in that offense. And, again, their defense, though, should actually give this team a pretty good run for their money, that being the Vikings. Again, same schedule NFL Network thing as last week. It'll be at 9:30 a.m. Again, bright and early. Again, NFL Network, NFL Plus, all that jazz. It's going to be at Northumberland Development Project. I'd like to say I know what team plays there in like the Prem, but I don't even think a Prem team plays there. It's a little bit bizarre. But the Vikings and Browns haven't played since, I'm not mistaken, 2021. In that game, the Vikings, that was such a boring game. I think the Browns won like 14-7. It wasn't a very good game, but the Browns still won. Weather for this game, it's going to be 60 degrees, a really good amount of wind at 13 miles an hour. It's definitely going to be a windy day tomorrow. Again, also cloudy. Again, this is 2 p.m. because, again, that's like London time-ish. So, again, that's what you get there. Announcing this game will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Sarah Walsh, so another Fox team. Again, I guess that's what they're just going to be doing now. Vikings starting lineup, you got J.J. McCarthy out, so, again, we all know Carson Wentz will be starting. Jordan Mason, Xavier Scott are in the backfield. Xavier Scott had a touchdown last week. I think Jordan Mason did too, but whatever. Again, for the second straight week, have Jordan Addison there. Hopefully, he can make more than just one big play like last week. Justin Jefferson had a big game last week, but at the same time, hasn't really been an elite receiver so far this year. Jalen Naylor, Adam Thielen are both there as well. T.J. Hockenson, Josh Oliver at tight end. C.J. Ham is on IR on the offensive line. They have 3 starters out, and that's just not very good. Will Fries and Christian Darrisaw are the only healthy ones. I would be lying if I told you who's going to be starting at center for them this week. But Joe Hubert will definitely, Joe Huber's definitely starting a left guard. And then Justin Skoll will definitely be their tackle because he's their only other competent player on this O-line. With that said, though, defensively, D-line is the same as always. Edge rushers, Jonathan Grenard hasn't had the start he would have wanted this year. Other than that, though, again, you have Andrew Van Ginkel out once again. Or not once again. I don't remember if he played last week. Dallas Turner will be starting. Ivan Pace Jr., Eric Wilson will start at linebacker with Blake Cashman on IR. That's a pretty big loss. Isaiah Rodgers, Brian Murphy at corner with Tavir Thomas in the slot. Harrison Smith and Joshua Metellus at safety. Is there anything update on Blake Cashman? Hammy. I completely forgot that actually happened. Move over to the Browns. Again, the rest is just, whatever for the Vikings. Gabriel, again, making his first career start. They 3 of their 4 primary spots in like the skill position / making the offense run are rookies. But Quinshawn in the backfield, Jerome Ford is his backup, Dylan Sampson. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. He was supposed to be their starter a couple weeks ago. Jerry Jeudy is their number 1 receiver. Isaiah Bond, the other rookies there as well. Jamari Thrash and whoever the heck else knows is at receiver. David Njoku, Harold Fannin, another rookie at tight end. Offensive line-wise, Cam Robinson, Joel Bitonio, Ethan Pokey, Wyatt Taylor. Jack Conklin's questionable. You could see Cornelius Lucas here. And then for this defense that actually didn't play that bad last week, despite the fact, again, they get 34 points. Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire off the edge, Alex Wright, and Joe Tryon are the other edge rushers. Interior defensive line is the same as always. Mike Hall is out once again. JOK is not even close to back yet. The rest of the linebackers are good to go. Secondary-wise, Greg Newsome is questionable. That would be a big loss because I don't really trust anyone else, even in the secondary. It just doesn't really look that good. But Ronnie Hickman, Grant Delpiter at safety, Andre Schmidt again at kicker with Corey Bork as a punter, and a lot of other stuff going on as well. For this game, I'm going to put in decent just because it's Dylan Gabriel's debut. But realistically, this game will be not a fun one to watch. I do expect Carson Wentz to make a couple bad plays. That should be an interesting matchup against that Browns defense. But yeah, I don't see this game really having a whole lot of happen. We'll get more of that in a little bit. But if I was going to watch this game, I'd at least tune in a little bit again with Dylan Gabriel going on. I won't be able to watch it, but again, live. But that will definitely be something that I would watch it for. Again, we look again who I'm actually going to pick in this game. I was already wrong in the first one, so I'm going to try to be conservative. But I actually think the Browns are going to win this one, handing the Vikings their second straight loss. And I think it's definitely going to be a lower scoring game. But I say Dylan Gabriel doesn't make too many mistakes and makes a couple big throws late. Again, put the Vikings over the edge in terms of them losing. So I'm going to say the Browns and defensive effort win this one 16-13, maybe on a game-winning field goal. I really don't know. That's what I'm going to have on this one. Now let's get into our early window. And it's part of the 6-game early window. I think there's 4 games in the late window, if I'm not mistaken. Again, we have 10 games in total. Again, outside of the game we just talked about. But, again, here we are, our first game in the early window. Texans and Ravens. Both these teams coming at 1-3. Both these teams are in pretty desperate situations. The Ravens are in a really crappy situation. Texans really were before last week. But, again, they were blessed and they got the Titans on the schedule as they avoided an 0-4 start with a shutout win against the Titans. Their offense wasn't great, but they did enough to win, and their defense looks like the best in football. So, again, that's definitely something you want to have going for you. Meanwhile, the Ravens have had about as bad of a start as they could have really imagined. They couldn't even imagine this. They blew a 40-25 lead in the final 4 minutes in Week 1. Week 2, again, they blew out the Browns, that being their only win so far. In the past 2 weeks, their defense has been trash, and, again, last week they got very, very bad news as Lamar messed up his hamstring and will be missing this game and subsequently maybe next week. That would be good for the Rams. But their defense has been absolute trash this season, and it doesn't look, they have a decent, definitely a get-right game in that sense. But considering how their offense is going to be looking going into this game, I don't really know if that even matters. But these two teams, again, have played a decent amount over the past couple of years. But the Ravens have dominated this series, to be honest with you guys. The 3 matchups that I'm thinking of is last year in, week 17 in Houston. They blew them out, it was 31-2, bizarre score. That game wasn't even close, though. They also played in the divisional round 2 years ago. The Texans got blown out in that one, too, 34-10. And they also played back in 2019 when, the Ravens were going crazy. That game was also not close, 41-7. Those are just 3 games I think of. But again, all those games have Lamar. And Lamar's not playing in this game. So that's a good thing to mention there. This game, though, will be at 1 o'clock on CBS. NFL Plus and Paramount Plus are the ways you can stream this game. Weather for this game, this is not right. There we go. Aren't too bad. 75 degrees, a little bit of wind, sunny. So, again, nothing really crazy. Oh, yeah, also, I don't think, the Ravens beat them 25-9, too. I can't tell you the last time the Texans beat the Ravens, guys, to be honest with you. But I need to go at J.J. Watt. Evan Washburn will win the call for this game, so it's, again, I guess a B game if we look at it in that sense. It's going to be in blue, so, again, a decent amount of the country you can see is getting this game. For the Texans starting lineup, though, C.J. Stroud at quarterback, Nick Chubb, Woody Marks, who could be starting, I don't know. In the backfield, Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel at receiver. Tank Dell is still working his way back, and Justin Watson will probably not be playing this for a while. Dalton Schultz, Harrison Bryant at tight end. O-line is healthy, but not good. Defensively, they're doing their own thing. They got everything on lock. Again, outside of Jimmy Ward's, suspension? I don't even know what happened to him. Yeah, exempt. I don't know, bro. Whatever. He's around. But other than that, I don't really see too many issues with this defense. Jalen Petre's been going off this year, though. Hats off to Kyman Fairbairn last week. He had to hit 4 field goals, again, in a place where he didn't play very well last week. Outside of that, though, that's really all I have for the Texans. For the Ravens, though, again, Lamar is out with that hamstring injury. Again, that was really closely followed all week. So that means Cooper Rush, who I guess played well last week in garbage time, will be getting the start. Derrick Henry, again, will be asked to be doing a lot this week, and I don't see him doing a lot. We'll see what happens, though. Justice Hill had that long touchdown last week. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, D-Hop at receiver. D-Hop hasn't really done anything since week 2. Tez Walker's questionable as well. Mark Andrews, Isaiah likely finally healthy at tight end. Patrick Reichardt's out. Ronnie Stanley, that would be bad if he's out, but he is questionable. Joseph Noseboom would start if he can't go. The rest of the O-line is also healthy. For this defense, they've been battered with injuries, to say the least, but I know Dami Matabike is out of the season. That is a huge loss. John Jenkins is probably their best run defender now on this team right now. Travis Jones will be asked to be doing a lot in terms of pass rush. Brent Urban does give you some upside, but realistically, he's just there to kind of like close up holes. And Addis Peebles, I don't know who this dude is. Dave always questionable. That's not good. Mike Green will probably start if he can't go, but he's really just not been playing good so far. Kyle Van Noy's been fine. Teddy Buchanan can't tackle. Roquan Smith being out is a massive loss. Trenton Simpson's also bad. And Jay Higgins is like a freaking rookie. David Ojabo, I don't even know what to say about him. Jake Hummel's a practice squad player. Secondary-wise, Kyle Hamilton, who's been absolutely awful at points so far this season. He has not had a good... I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but there's just been a lot of points where he sucked. And again, he can't suck because he's literally one of the best defensive players in football. So he's questionable for this game. Malachi Starks has been a little bit all over the place. Shidobi Awuzie and Marlon Humphrey are both out for this game. Nate Wiggins is there. Guys, this is just not a very good situation going on here. Tyler Luke, Jordan Stout round things out, though. Yeah, this is a game I don't recommend watching. I'm going to put it in boring. This is tough. I'm putting it in decent because realistically, if both these teams are healthy, it's going to be, I won't say a must-watch, but it's going to be entertaining. I think I'm still going to keep it in decent because I think this will definitely be a defensive battle that is going to be worth like paying attention to. I see it maybe being close, but this is just not a game that I really look at with like high-quality football. But anyway, who am I going to pick to win? I have to pick the Texans, guys. I'll be honest, guys, the Ravens really aren't a 1-4, or could be a potential 1-4 football team, but their defense still hasn't really shown me enough, despite the fact that, again, there's a good chance they will shut down that Texans offense to really be, again, the one that carries themselves in this game. And, guys, this Texans defense, like, they're just really freaking good. And even if Cooper Rush is somewhat decent, I don't see how, this is tough. What am I going to say? Do I trust the Ravens defense more or the Texans offense? I really don't trust either. I'm gonna stick with that defense though. I'm gonna say they do enough to win this one. I'm gonna say the final score is like 13-9. I don't see this game being very good to watch at all. But hey, we'll see what ends up happening. And now let's go to a game that Tank Bowl maybe. Next on tap is a battle that just maybe will give Spencer Rattler a chance to win his first game as the New York Giants head to New Orleans for the first time since they both these teams suck. The Giants are heading here to New Orleans. And Jackson Dart's first ever road start. He won his first start last week against the Chargers at home. Pretty big upset, again, as they came in at 0-3. Their defense hadn't been playing awesome, but they did play awesome last week. And their offense, again, wasn't very good, but they figured out a way to get it done. As he scored his first 2 touchdowns in his career as a starter. And also, again, got the Giants their first win over a Chargers team. That was pretty solid. Meanwhile, for the Saints, they have not had the start they would have or really were hoping for, but probably should have been expecting, as they, again, have gotten, they've lost by double digits the past 2 games, but last week didn't play too bad after getting blown out by the Seahawks in week 3. Again, they returned home after, again, the 2-game road trip to hopefully get their first win of their season. Also, Spencer Rattler, who's now 0-10 as a starter, might want to be thinking about that first one as well. He really needs it, guys. But anyway, the Saints, they got to win against the Giants last time they played them. Last two times they played them, as they beat them last year 14-11 in a pretty pathetic game. I think it was like a Graham Gano missed kick or something. That was just a horrible game. They also played 2 years ago, and the Saints won that one. I think it was like 24-6 or something. This game, though, will be at 1 o'clock on CBS. NFL Plus, Paramount Plus are the ways to stream it. You look at the announcers for this game: Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, and AJ Ross. Map-wise, it is going to be in yellow, so you see not a whole lot of the countries getting this game, but still a little bit. For the Saints, though, oh no, that's not the Saints. Why are we going to the Saints first? Giants. Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson is his backup. Cam Scatterbo will get a lot of carries. Tyron Tracy out again. Devin Singletary is still there. Wan'Dale Robinson's your number 1 receiver with Malik Neighbors on IR, again tearing his ACL, which I tried not to get too deep into. I don't want to dig too deep into those Giants fans' skin there. Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt at receiver as well, with Theo Johnson at tight end. Daniel Bellinger's not good, and the rest of the O-line is completely healthy, but are they good? Debatable. Defensively, Dexter Lawrence is questionable, but again, if he does that dance again, I think he'll be good to go. TJ Davidson might play. Darius Alexander should be starting over what is called Roy Robin Harris, but that's just me. Raheem Nunez-Roches is also there. Abdul Carter will be getting a lot of reps this week after a very big week last week. Brian Burns, though, is awesome, and Kayvon Thibodeau has actually been good, too. Linebackers have been fun to watch. Secondary has been a little bit all over the place, but Tyler Newbin, who is questionable, has been the best so far. Cordell Flat, shout out to him. He's earned himself a contract right now. Graham Gano against still on IR, and a lot of other weird things going on for the Giants. For the Saints, though, like I said, Spencer Rattler is 0-10 as a starter, trying to get his first win. Kamara will be getting a lot of touches in this game for sure. Henry Miller is his backup. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, the receiver. Devon Bailey getting traded over for Denver a couple weeks ago. Juwan Johnson's questionable. Jack Stoll is his backup. Kevin Banks Jr., Talise Fuaga, and Eric McCoy are healthy. Or Talise, my bad. Xavier Truss, yeah, Truss, bro. He'll play better than Cesar Ruiz, who will not be playing in this game. Both left guards are questionable, but that's a little bit of a, kind of a blessing. I'm joking, but maybe it's Team Richards plays. Defensively, I also had Chase Young not playing again, and Isaac Gadam, who again that's actually pretty big loss. Ugo Amaya will be fun to watch, but still, that's about as healthy as defense as you'll find. Blake Ruby, Kai Kruger, and you know who else? I don't even know who's also there. That's what I got there. This game, I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't give a crap who wins it. Again, I'm putting it... I can't put it in decent, guys. No, I'm going to put it in decent because I want to see Spencer Rattler get his first one. I'm going to see if Jackson Dart actually can put a complete game together. Only reason it's indecent, though, because realistically, who the heck's going to actually want to watch this game? But anyway... give me the Saints in this one. I can put them out of their misery, give them their first win. I don't know, 24-21. Saints win this one, get their first win of the season. I guess good for them, but again, we'll see if it actually happens. Let's move on to the next. Moving on to our next game. Oof. Not a very good one. As the Dolphins coming on a short week off of a brutal home win over the Jets. Again, it really wasn't that brutal. They actually played a decent game. But other than Darren Waller showing a blast of the past, They lost Tyreek Hill for definitely the rest of this year and maybe the rest of his NFL career if he, again, has the rest of his NFL career. But anyway, pretty complete performance last week. Again, their defense was a little bit shaky at times, but considering the secondary isn't very talented, I'm not too mad about that. For the Panthers, they put up the worst performance last week as they get 42 unanswered to the Patriots after, again, a decent start. Bryce Young did absolutely nothing. He ended up getting benched, and as a result, they come into this game not really with the highest hopes. But hey, last time they were home, they shut out the Falcons and won by 30, so... not too bad. Still, though, neither one of these teams are really coming in this one with a ton of momentum. I mean, I guess the Dolphins got to win, but who really cares? Anyway, the Dolphins haven't played here since 2017. That's pretty much irrelevant. They did play in 2021, though. That was Cam Newton when he was still around. The Dolphins blew him out 33-10, though, so that's not very good. Anyway, 1 o'clock on Fox. Fox 1. Yeah, I forgot they're still doing that. Not really. They just launched that. The Fox 1 streaming service is the way you can do this. Again, NFL Plus as well. Weather for this game, you get 76 degrees, a decent amount of wind, light rain, again, for the first part of the game. It should definitely slow down after that, though. Eric Collins, I don't know who Eric Collins is, but again, he's calling this game with Mark Schroeder and Jen Hale, so that's what we got going on there. Map-wise, it's in green. No one's getting this game because this game sucks. For the Dolphins, though, 2 at quarterback, Devon Achane, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright at running back. Receivers are not healthy, but, I mean, Jalen Waddle is going to actually have to do something at some point. Darren Waller, tight end, Al King, go to fullback. O-line's healthy. No, they're not, but I guess they're healthy for now. Defensively, Storm Duck's out, but other than that, and again, the other guys have had injured in secondary, their rest of their team is healthy. Riley Patterson, Jake Bailey round things out. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, Bryce Young at quarterback, Chuba Hubbard will not be playing in this one. Rico Dowdle will be getting a lot of carries. Trevor Etienne probably will as well. Xavier Legette, Hunter Renfrow, and Bryson Tremaine at receiver. Jatavion Sanders is out, so Tommy Tremble, Mitchell Evans will still be out there. O-line is not healthy, but again, Brady Christensen is going to start. Again, outside of that, they're the same group as last week. Defensively, D-line is healthy, but Tershawn Wharton will not be playing this one, which is a pretty decent loss. Cam Jackson's questionable as well. Linebacker-wise, DJ Wadham's questionable off the edge, but again, everything else is pretty much as normal. Secondary-wise, Shaw Smith-Wade, their decent nickelbacker there is out. Other than that, they're pretty much good. Ryan Fitzgerald, Sam Martin, Trevor Etienne, and J.J. Jansen round things out for the Panthers. This game, it's going to suck. I really don't recommend watching this game. It's probably the worst, or not the worst, but the most irrelevant game of the weekend. So, I just get, of Sunday, I just won. They're just not very good. I don't care who wins it. I'm just going to say the Dolphins win this one 25-7. Yeah, this game's just going to kind of suck, guys. That's all I got for you guys there, though. Let's move to a little bit more of an exciting matchup, I guess, if that's the way you want to put it. I already mentioned this in the intro, but this game is definitely going to be a little bit different just because of what happened. But the actual matchup should be somewhat decent as the Raiders come in. Yes, they're 1-3, but they realistically shouldn't be, as last week they did outperform the Bears by a decent bit. But due to Geno Smith being a bad quarterback at times and, Ashton Jeanty really being the only one in that offense doing much of anything, put themselves in a situation where, again, on the last play, they should have won the game, but again, a block kick and all, that didn't end up happening, as they ended up falling to 1-3, losing their third straight game. The previous 2 weeks, they put up a pretty decent effort in week 3, but no, they didn't. They played like awful. And then week 2, they're, again, Geno Smith sucked again, too. So, yeah, not very good things going on for the Raiders right now. Colts on the other side, again, if you didn't know, Indiana Jones, again, facing the Raiders of the Lost, not even Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Art. They haven't been good in who knows how long. But for the Colts, they come on in off of a tough loss against the Rams, in which they probably should have won. They did play pretty decent. But still, they ended up losing. Their defense didn't really look too great. But, again, Indiana Jones, outside of one of the first interception, did a pretty decent job. They ran the ball okay, not as well as they wanted to. But, again, it came down to Donnie Mitchell being a freaking idiot, bro. What the hell was he doing? But anyway, they started out 3-0, so they're coming into this game still pretty confident. And, again, as they should be. They were very, very good the first 3 weeks. This game, though, will be at 1 o'clock on Fox, as well as streaming on Fox 1. The Raiders have not been to Indy, if I'm not mistaken, since way back in No, they played a couple times. They played in 2021. Raiders won that one 23-20. They played them in 2023, and the Colts also won that one 23-20. And they also played in 2019. The Raiders won that one 31-24. Yeah, that's really all I can remember from that, though. Anyway, though, announcing this game will be Chris Myers. Probably not Mark Sanchez, as you all know. And again, Christina Pink. Map-wise, it's going to be in blue, so, again, West Coast will have some of this, and, again, the Indianapolis area, and that's about it. For the Raiders, their starting lineup, Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett's his backup, Ashton Genty coming off a monster week, Raheem Mostert, again, also pulled a pretty big run as well. Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton at receiver. Brock Bowers is questionable as well as Michael Mayer. O-line is healthy, outside of Colin Miller being on IR. D-line's good to go. Rest of the defense, really, there's nothing too much to talk about outside of Jamal Adams being a linebacker now. Eric Stokes is questionable. They got other things going on. For the Colts, though, they do, in fact, have Daniel Jones at quarterback. Jonathan Taylor, Gigi Giddens are in the backfield. Tyler Goodson will be out for this game. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Donnie Mitchell will definitely getting some snaps again with Alec Pierce out again. Tyler Warren, or not again, out for this week. Tyler Warren, Malaya Cox, tight end. O-line is healthy. Defensively, though, Tyquan Lewis questionable. That would be a big loss. We had a monster game last week. Not really last week. It was a couple weeks ago, right? Quiddy Pay, Latu, Latu, Samson Ebukam also off the edge. D-line, interior D-line is good to go. Outside that, though, Kenny Moore's out again, and that's really about it. They're pretty much healthy out again there. Spencer Schrader, Rigobert, Dos Sanders, Anthony Goldberg, Luke Rhodes round things out there. This game is definitely something that I want to pay attention to. I'm actually going to, I want to put this one in entertaining, to be honest with you guys. Again, a lot of people are like, what? This game's really going to be entertaining? I actually think it's going to be. Again, it's definitely not one of the more high-profile games, but it's definitely a game that I see being close, and especially with all the attention that'll be around it. And again, just the narratives. It's definitely something that, again, I definitely would tune into, and I think it'll be a good game. For actually how I see it playing out, I'm going to say the Colts actually win this one. I won't say pretty dominantly, but definitely pull away at the end. And I'm going to say they win this one 33-23. 33-23. Again, strong finish for the Colts to get this win. I expect it to definitely be a decent game, though. That's all I got there. Let's get into our 2 national games in the early window. Oh, boy. I mean, I don't even know what to think about this game. But the Cowboys will be heading to the New Jersey Jets Stadium to take on an 0-4 Jets team. The Cowboys last week put up a very good offensive performance, throwing up 40 points for the second straight game at home. Not, again, overall, but second straight home game. Yeah, there we go. But they ended up tying because that exists. So they should have won, but they ended up tying. So, again, like I said, that exists. So technically they come in with a losing record, again, against a Jets team that has yet to win a game this year. They didn't play great last week, even though they had a lot of chances to win. Justin Fields looks just as ineffective as a passer as he did last year. I mean, there's really not much good things to say for the Jets. I don't know. Their defense played not that hard. Who knows? Cowboys, though, again, this is definitely a game they're going to look to put up some points in, but again, who knows what actually happens in this one, because way back in 2019, Sam Darnold versus the Cowboys beat them. So, I don't know, bro. They were 0-4 in that game, too. We'll see what happens. This game, though, will be at 1 o'clock on Fox. Fox 1 as well as part of their game 1 of their doubleheader. Weather for this game is 81 degrees. Yeah, that's about it. It's going to be a little bit hot, but not too bad. Jason Benetti, again, this is like baseball postseason, so, Joe Davis has his other responsibilities or obligations. Greg Olson, Pam Oliver will also be calling this game. Map-wise, it's, again, most of the country because obviously it is. Again, what else would it be? Cowboys. Dak quarterback, he was pretty good last week. Javonte Williams, running back. That would actually be pretty interesting if they switched there. Miles Sanders is questionable. Jalen Blue also there. CD's out again, and as well as Kamada Turpin, so they're going to have to work with George Pickens again. Jalen Tolbert was pretty good as well last week. Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, tight end. Hunter Luke, he's the fullback. Tyler Guyton and Tyler Booker are both out. Both Tylers, as well as Tyler Smith being questionable. Again, it's crazy. They had 3 Tylers in the offensive line. 4 T's with Terrence Steele as well. But, oh yeah, they're pretty injured. Cooper Beebe's on IR. So outside of Terrence Steele, their entire offensive line is somewhat injured. And again, the extents of that are differed. But again, this whole line is pretty banged up right now. Defensively, Osa and Kenny Clark have been monsters this season. Edge rushers have not been so much. Linebackers have been all over the place. Kevin Murray's questionable. Any update on DeMarvion Overshown? Is he anywhere close to coming back? Feels good about his recovery from the... Yeah. I feel like I'll be playing before Thanksgiving with the team. That would be great. I want to see you play. Anyway, though, outside of that, for this secondary, Malik Hooker is on IR with that toe injury he suffered last week. That did not look good. Siobhan Revel, any update on you? Okay. Other than that, though, they're pretty much good. For the freaking Jets, though, I mean, they're not good. But, again, at least they're healthy, really healthy. Elijah Vera Tucker out of the season, but outside of that, they're good to go. Just remember, they have no other receiver outside of Garrett Wilson. Defensively, Jermaine Johnson's questionable. Michael Collins is his backup. Again, he'll play anyway, so they're basically healthy there. Leonard Taylor, again, still not getting enough snaps. And then, defensive, the rest of the group is good. Quincy Williams on IR. Michael Carter's out again, so not really good things coming on again with the Jets here on the short week. Nick Folk, Austin McNamara at punter. Isaiah Williams, Keenan Wangu's questionable. Isaiah Davis behind him. Again, you also, not really behind him. He'll probably just return. And you also have Thomas Hennessy, a long snapper. For this game specifically, I'm going to put this one in, I don't want to put boring. It should be boring, but I'm going to put it in decent. I can see the appeal for this game, at least somewhat. But, yeah, this game, there's definitely a risk that the game's going to be an absolute arse whooping. So that's why I'll put it in decent. But, again, I will at least be paying attention somewhat to this game. For who's going to win it, I really want to pick the Jets because that would be funny. And, again, the Jets are just, they're not even that banged up. The Cowboys are, though. I see this Jets defense getting 6 sacks and winning this one 17-14, and the Cowboys just don't look good. So yeah, there's my prediction. Yeah, beat that. They're winless at home. Yeah, on the road. My bad. Cowboys get upset big time here. Now let's move to the undefeated team. Closing out the early window games, we have the Broncos and Eagles in the featured game for CBS this week, as both these teams have had again okay starts, more for the Broncos that is, as they come in of a pretty dominant win on Monday night against the Bengals. That game really wasn't close at all, as they outgained them by over like 350 yards, something ridiculous like that, on their way to their second win of the year, stopping their 2-game losing streak where they lost back-to-back heartbreakers and realistically could be 4-0. Again, they had a not-so-great Week 1 victory over the Titans as well. But this will be a game that I think can right the ship as they play an undefeated Eagles team that has not lost with Jalen Hurts in over a year. Again, that's when they starts and finishes the game. That's pretty crazy, though. But the Eagles have not played a good fourth quarter, full four quarters so far this season. Last week, they played good in the first half, unlike Week 3 where they got bailed out by Jordan Davis twice. But yeah, and then they played terrible in the second half as they did not complete a pass in the second half as well. So not very good for the Eagles, though. But again, when they played Denver last time here, which was in 2017, they beat them to a pulp. So we'll see if that actually happens in this one. But nonetheless, for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts has to learn to throw a pass, and they also have a lot of stuff to do to actually, get a lot better. This game, though, will be 1 o'clock on CBS, NFL Plus, Paramount Pluses. Paramount Plus are the ways to stream this game. Weather for this game, you get 81 degrees, basically the same as East Rutherford, again, as you might expect. Announcing this game will be Jam Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wilson. The map, it's a little bit scattered, but it still, again, has a majority of the country, as you can see here. For the Broncos, though, Bo Nix at quarterback, J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey are in the backfield. Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims are a receiver. Pat Bryant hasn't really been used a lot this year. Evan Ingram, Adam Troutman are also there at tight end. O-line is healthy. Adam Prentice is now the fullback. For this defense, Zach Allen and DJ Jones, Jonathan Kamara's normal group there. Edge rushers are, again, the same normal group. Again, Alex Singleton, Justin Strand, and out linebacker is Justin Strand to serve them well. With Dre Greenlaw and Drew Sanders not being able to play. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan in the secondary with Brandon Jones and Talanoa Hufanga at safety. Will Lutz, Jeremy Crawshaw are there as well in special teams. For the Eagles, though, they have Jalen Hurts, quarterback. Tanner McKee is his backup. Saquon, A.J. Dillon are in the backfield. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, receiver. John Mechie is also there. Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra at tight end. O-line is good to go. For this defense, Moro Ojomo, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter across the D-line with Zadarius Smith, Jalen Hunt, Joshua Uche, and Azeez Ojolari off the edge. Again, a lot of former players on different teams there. Again, linebackers are good to go as well. Secondary is, I guess, healthy. Corn Bennett being the only exception there. Jake Elliott, Braden Mann round things out. And for this game, this is obviously going to be a must-watch. It's probably the best game in the early window. I think we can say that pretty definitively. It's still not like some elite matchup, but still, both these teams again are trying to prove something. Eagles obviously they're a dominant football team. Broncos are we might actually be pretty good. And again, they're just trying to show they can hang with a really good team on the road, which they haven't really been able to do yet. So that'll be an interesting game there. I mean, I guess you could say the Chargers. But for who actually wins this one, I'm really encouraged to take the Broncos. I really think they'll play a good game here, but I'm being honest, guys. I just see the Eagles winning once again. They've been 5-0 3 times. I think this will be their fourth time, or 2 times. I think this will be the fourth time that actually happens. I'm going to say they win this one 32-24. I think it'll be a good game, but I say the Eagles have enough to win it. All right, our first of our 2 late afternoon windows, we have the regional one first, and that first matchup in that window is the Titans and Cardinals. Both of these teams are not coming off their best performances last week, as the Titans got shut out against their division rival Texans, as they have now lost one since November 24th of last season. I might be off on that, but I think I'm pretty close. Yeah, it's been a while since the Titans have won a game, and their offense has been legitimately awful so far this season. It's been really bad to watch, and again, I don't recommend watching them this week either. But their defense, at least at times, has been pretty decent. But does that really matter? Because this is a Cardinals team that, despite losing back-to-back games, has been able to capitalize against bad teams. Again, I'm not saying they've blown them out, but they've been able to handle the 2 bad teams they've played somewhat. Their defense actually hasn't really been that bad. Their offense, though, has been a little bit porous, as well as, again, similar to Titans there. At some points, again, last week they had some shortcomings against the Seahawks as they, again, come off their mini bye, trying to, again, remedy some of those issues. The Titans haven't been to Glendale in like 8 years, but they did play them back in 2021 and got blown out. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. This game, though, will be at 4:05 on CBS. NFL Plus, Paramount Plus will be the ways you guys can stream this again if you can, because, again, blackouts and stuff. We look at, again, who's announcing this game. We got Spiro Diaz, Adam Archuleta, and Aditi Kinkombala. Not announcing this game, my bad. The map for this game, again, it's going to be in, what do we got, orange. So, again, basically just Glendale and Indy and, I guess, yeah, Nashville. That's really, again, this game. So, a little bit of a smaller market for this game. Titans, starting lineup, Cam Ward at quarterback, Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears is finally not completely out, but he's questionable. Kellen Mullings is now on IR, though. Calvin Lee is questionable. LKU Manor, who's the only receiver who's been doing anything on this team so far. And you also have Tyler Lockett, who's been locked up. Shamir DK there as well, with Chega Conquo at tight end. Gunnar Helms, again, also there as well. O-line-wise, J.C. Lanthan's out, but all the other starters are healthy. For this defense, again, Tavani Sweat on IR, but the rest of the group is good. D-line is basically healthy. Again, Olufemi Oladajo will be fun to watch in this one, again, especially going against, what's his name? Freaking Paris Johnson, there we go. Secondary is basically healthy. Joey Slide, Johnny Hecker at kicker and punter. Then move over to the Cardinals. Offensively, Greg Dortch is questionable. Amari DiMarcano is basically taking over the reins in the backfield now with Trey Benson on there. They've now lost both their starting they've lost their starting running back and their backup running back for the season. Again, with the knee injury he suffered on Thursday Night Football last week. Kyler's gonna have to do a lot of running. Let's just put it like that. Marvin Mims, my bad. Yeah, Marvin Harrison, bro. Fall from grace for him. Michael Wilson, though, and you also have Zay Jones, a receiver. Trey McBride at tight end. Evan Brown is quite doubtful, so I'd probably guess Will Hernandez, if he can actually go, will be playing there. Rest of the O-line is healthy, though. Defensively, I mean, Darius Robinson's out, but again, Dante Stills has been okay the past couple weeks. Walter Nolan's out. Again, PJ Musfer, you're probably not going to want to see out there. The rest of the D-line's healthy, though. Linebackers are completely healthy. Again, BJ Ojulari being the only exception, but again, he's out the season, so not really too much to talk about there. Baron Browning expect to get a lot of really just true edge rushing snaps this week. Will Johnson, maximum on the starting corners on the boundary are questionable, as well as Denzel Burke. Elijah Jones is also there. Starting safeties obviously are healthy, with Keetrell Clark there as well. Chad Ryland, Blake Gillikin, kicker punter. Greg Dortchkin is a returner, so again, he is questionable. And then you also have Aaron Brewer at long snapper for this game. That's not good. If we can reload that would be very good. There we go. We have the entries too. There we go. Yeah. All right. We'll get back to this in a second, but this game is gonna suck. Yeah, I don't really care. Honestly, I don't give a rat's. You know what about who wins this game? Who knows? Maybe Cam Ward gets his first win though. But actually, who's gonna win this? I'm gonna say the Cardinals win this one pretty easily. But they actually put up a better performance. 34-3, they win. They're probably better than the Texans. Anyway, 34-3 is my final. No, 34-6. There's the pick. Yeah. Now let's go to a much better game. Now, our other game in this, again, late afternoon regional window, which arguably is the best game of the week, is the 3-1 Bucks coming off of a very disjointed loss last week to the Eagles at home. Head to Seattle to take on a Seahawks team that is really looking good right now, as they've won 3 straight. Again, coming off of, their mini bye, as well as they just played the Cardinals and won that one again with that game-winning kick. Nonetheless, though, this is an offense that has not been the most well-rounded. It doesn't have the most depth. But does that really matter when the fact, again, JSN's doing what he's been able to do and Sam Darnold's been playing pretty well, as well as the fact that this defense has been very, very solid the past couple weeks as well, arguably the entire season too. Bucs, though, like I said, they were 3-0 coming into that game last week. They did not play well at all as they got blown out in the first half. Second half, they made a little bit of a run, but realistically, offensively, did not have their best day. As, again, before that, they had a couple close wins, to say the least. But defensively, they're going to have to be a lot better, and their offense is going to have to be able to put up more points consistently if they want to. And to Seattle get a big-time win here. Anyway, though, they have not played in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, since... I honestly don't think they played here since 2019. That game was crazy. Seahawks won the 40-34 in OT. They haven't played each other since... When was the last time the Seahawks and Bucs? They don't play very often, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, that's what I got there. This game will be at 4:05 on CBS, Envo Plus, and Paramount Plus with the ways you can stream this game. Announcing it, again, as you might expect, will be Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. Should be a pretty good group for that. Map-wise, you got it in green, and again, Northwest is getting this game. Again, Southeast is getting this game. Yeah, far travel for the Bucs here. Again, it's not very fun from going from here all the way up to there. But yeah, other than that, you got the weather for this game: 61 degrees, 9-mile-per-hour winds. Pretty fortunate if you're a Bucs fan, but still, again, it could have been bad last week too. Looking at the starting lineup, Baker's at quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater is backup, Rashad White and Sean Tucker will be getting a healthy dose of carries this week with Bucky Irving not being able to play. Mike Evans is out again. Chris Godwin, Amika Ibuka, Sterling Shepard they're healthy. Cade Otton will be expected to get a lot more tuggers. Payne Durham is now their backup. Again with Keith on IR. Again, that's been a couple weeks now. O-line. And the guys that we've already talked about re-injured are healthy. Thank God Tristan Wirfs is back. Hopefully Grant Barton can get back in the groove there at center. Defensively, Jamel Dean is out, as well as Christian Izzy and Benjamin Morrison, all key guys in that secondary. But other than that, they are pretty much healthy again outside of, obviously, I already know that David Walker and Kalijah Cansey are on IR. Chase McLaughlin, Riley Dixon, Cameron Johnson, that's an interesting guy to have returning, as well as Sean Tucker and Evan Deckers rounding out the special teams unit for the Bucs. Moving over to Seattle, Sam Darnold's at quarterback. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet in the backfield. JSN, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horn, a receiver. AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo are at tight end. Brady Russell's their fullback. O-line, again, outside of Christian Haynes being on IR, is completely healthy. For this defense, their D-line's good to go, again, outside of Jonathan Hankins, who, again, gets in there a little bit being out. DeMarcus Lawrence will not be playing this game off the edge, so Derek Hall will be getting a lot of reps, but he'd probably be Uchenna Nwosu, who I think would definitely take a majority of those. Devin Witherspoon is out. That's a big loss, because that means Hemi Pritchett, who's really the only other boundary profile, would probably play. I honestly would say Darian Kendrick probably gets to look over him, though. Julian Love is out. Nick Amani-Warrior will get his first career start. Kobe Bryant there is strong safety. Josh Joe, Breek Woolen at cornerback. I don't know. This has to be Nick Amani-Warrior's first start, if I'm not mistaken. Jason Myers. You also have Michael Dixon and a bunch of you-know-whats at the returning positions. They're all fast. That's what I'll say there. This game, again, I don't know what it is. Again, there really isn't a game of the week is probably the best way to put it this week because, again, there just really isn't. I mean, we'll get to the game of the week, but it's really not that. So I honestly want to put this game in there because I think both these teams, again, honestly, the Bucs didn't play that well last week. But still, this is the matchup that I think a lot of people look at as like, this is like the one that I'm like, yeah, this is a really freaking good matchup. I wish this one was actually in the national window because I think it would be a little bit more easy to see it. But still, I think this is the best game we have this week, and I think that's why it goes in the game of the week. Not all games of the week are created equal. For that reason, I have this one here. Again, we look at this as well. Who's going to win this one? I'm going to actually have Seattle win this one. I just feel more comfortable with them here. They played a really good first couple weeks. Again, if it wasn't for that disastrous start against the 49ers, they'd be 4-0. Again, I don't agree with the fact that they're the best team in the NFC West, but they're a solid team. They've been playing well the past 3 weeks. I understand the mini back could definitely throw some things off, but give me the Seahawks in this one, especially with the Bucs' two best offensive players. Again, I guess with Amika Ibuka has been great, but their two best offensive skill players outside of obviously against Tristan Wirfs in the O-line, but still. Give me Seattle in this one, 22 to 19. 22 to 19 Seahawks in this one. Now let's get into our late national window, which is not the greatest first game. Moving on to our national window, and the regional game in this window is not a very good game, as the Detroit Lions, who have been playing very solid offensive football, are just really freaking good offensive football. The past 3 weeks, prowl into Cincinnati, take on a Bengals squad that is about as dead as a freaking horse. Who knows, though? They're 2-2 coming in this game, though, because they did start out 2-0, but realistically, they've been the worst team in football the past 2 weeks, as their offense has done absolutely nothing. Their defense has really done little to, again, support any sort of, again, change in their performance. But Jake Browning, obviously, being their starting quarterback now with, Burrow being out. Again, this should have been the game of the week, but again, injuries. Again, that's what I'll say there. But, yeah, the Lions, they actually got eliminated by the playoffs last time they were here in 2017. That's a while back now. They also blew them out in 2021. Was that when they played? No, the Bengals with the Lions. The Lions suck then. There we go. I got that right. Anyway, though, this game will be at 4:25 on Fox. Fox 1 is the way you can stream it. I guess is NFL Plus. Who knows, though. As well as Kevin Kugler, Darryl Johnson, Allison Williams will be unfortunately having to call this game. Map for this one, again, actually a lot of the country for really no reason. Again, I guess some reason, because really the America's Game of the Week is weak. But this game should have been America's Game of the Week, is getting a decent amount of the country for really no reason. I mean, outside again that fact. Jared Goff at quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery in the backfield. Receivers are healthy. Sam Laporte is good to go. Taylor Decker's questionable, but everyone else is healthy on this offensive line. Defensively, they're a little bit injured. Obviously, with Levi Onwuzurike being out, are on PUP list and all that, but everyone else is healthy. The linebackers outside of, again, Malcolm Rodriguez being out and Zach Cunningham, they're pretty much good. Secondary is a little bit banged up. Kirby Joseph is questionable, but the rest of the group outside of TJ Reed being on IR and Anders Rinkstor being on IR, they're banged up, are healthy. Jake Bates, Jack Fox, kicker, punter, Cleve Raymond, Jacob Sailors are the returners with Hogan Hatton as the long snapper. Moving over to the Bengals. There we go. They don't have a lot going for them, but Jake Browning is at quarterback. You have Chase Brown and Shamaji P. in the backfield. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yossi-Vaz at receiver. Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki at tight end. O-line is good to go. For this defense, Joseph Osai, Troy Henderson off the edge. Miles Murphy is also there. Shamar Stewart is out. Cam Sample, my guess, would get some snaps there. TJ Slayton, the big-time run stuffer, is there with B.J. Hill as well. Linebackers are good to go. Secondary is healthy. Evan McPherson, Ryan Raquel, I guess that's what they got going on there. For this game is going to suck, but I will put it in decent because, I mean, crazier things have happened. But, yeah, this game is not going to be good. That's just the best way to put it for y'all. Did we do the weather yet? Yeah, 84 degrees, a little bit of wind and sunny. There we go. Anyway, yeah, the Lions win this one on the land side. I have them for the eliminator pick, too. So, yeah, 40-7, big-time blowout. Move on to America's Game of the Week. Moving on to the flexed-ish America's Game of the Week, we do have the Washington Commanders coming into this one at 2-2, facing off against the Chargers. Is Jane Daniels playing? Yeah, thank God. All right, this game's actually pretty freaking good. Not a matchup you would have assumed coming into last year would be a premier matchup, but again, it now is. As again, like I said, the Commanders coming in off 2-2 off of a defensive, porous performance against the Falcons on there, again, as they did lose. But again, the fact that, again, Marcus Mariota played pretty good in week 3, got them that win, which, again, helps them afford that loss last week. But still, this is a game they're going to want to play well in, especially they don't want to fall below 500 as well. For the Chargers, they had their worst performance this season as they fell into a trap game last week. Again, as they came in undefeated, ended up losing to the Giants 21-18. Justin Herbert threw 2 picks. He is now up to 3, which is the same number he threw last year. So, pretty crazy there. But actually, that's crazy because now we think about it. If you combine the 3 of the past 6 games he's played, or no, 5 games he's played. He is 3 of the last 5 games he's played. He's thrown 7 combined picks, which is not like him. But anyway, these 2 teams don't play very often. They haven't played here since 2017, or in LA. It wasn't even in the stadium because the Chargers were in the was the Galaxy MLS, that team, their stadium. But they also played 2021. That's when Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt, and a lot of things happened. But this game will be at 4:25 on Fox as well as Fox 1. Again, Fox Sports app. No, I don't even know what that is. NFL Plus. Again, it is America's Game of the Week as well, which means Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and you also have Tom Rinaldi on the call for this game. Map-wise, obviously a lot of the country, not as much as you would have expected for this game, in terms of, again, thinking of it being America's Game of the Week, but it is still, again, a large amount of the country. Commanders starting lineup. Jaden Daniels at quarterback. Bill Cross-Camaro is healthy and ready to go. Chris Rodriguez, I guess, will get a lot of carries. Maybe a little bit of Jeremy Nichols as well. Terry McLaurin's out again, as well as Noah Brown. So Debo expect to get a lot of targets, as well as Jalen Lane, maybe even Chris Moore. Zach Ertz, John Bates are at tight end. O-line is healthy. I don't know. Sam Cosmi obviously still out. Again, is there any update on his return? Yeah, no, they've just been ruled out. That's pretty much what I expected. Defensively, though, they're good. Linebackers, good. Secondary, Jonathan Jones on IR, but other than that, they're pretty much good. Trey Amos, I'm looking forward to see how he plays. Matt Gay, Tress kicker, punter. Everything else is about the same. For the Chargers, though, they got some interesting things going on. Justin Herbert at quarterback. Omar Hanson, Hassan Haskins are in the backfield. Lavin McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, a receiver. Will Disley's questionable. Oron Gatson will play if he can't go. Scott Matlock's at fullback. Joe Alt out. So that means, again, Mekhi Becton could start at left tackle. That would be an interesting experience. Jamari Salyer would start for him. Again, if he's healthy, he'll probably move over here. And again, if he's not healthy, then Jamari Salyer is playing anyway. Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, Trey Pipkins across the rest of the O-line. Defensively, Khalil Mack being the only big injury, as well as, I guess, Denzel Perryman. They're pretty much healthy outside of that, though. Derwin James, hats off to him last week because he played pretty well against the run. Cameron Dicker, J.K. Scott, Darius Davis is out. Lavin McConkey is a bum so far this season. His numbers are pretty atrocious, as well as Hassan Haskins, Rick Lotto rounding things out as well. Again, slow start. He'll probably be fine, that being, again, Lavin McConkey. But This game doesn't really, again, amaze me too much, but it's still going to be a must-watch just because of the fact that, again, it is America's Game of the Week, and it is also still a good game. I'm not going to, again, fool myself with that, especially with Jaden Daniels starting. But I wouldn't put it in Game of the Week. I think that this Bucs-Seahawks game is a little bit more intriguing for me. But still, definitely a game we're going to have to tune into. For, again, the prediction, again, the last one before we get to Sunday Night Football is going to be, this is tough. I'm going to say Chargers actually win this one. Justin Herbert, I do expect to turn over the ball maybe once or twice, but I say their offense actually does a lot in this game, has a very nice outing. They win this one 31-20. Commanders offense just doesn't have their best game as Jaden Daniels comes back, but 31-20 is my final prediction here. Now let's get to Sunday Night Football. And now, wrapping up the Week 5 Sunday predictions, we do have a very intriguing matchup as the Patriots coming out 2-2 off of their biggest win since Bill Belichick left, as they blew up the Panthers last week, 42-13. While they take on a Bills team that, again, is going to try to put them back in their places again as they come in as one of the lone 2 undefeated teams in football. Again, the Eagles in the NFC, my bad. Them, the AFC. But, yeah, for the Bills, they obviously haven't been playing their greatest football the past 2 weeks against pretty less or inferior opponents. But that really doesn't matter because they're going to have to put together a decent game here against the Patriots squad that is hoping to, again, pull off a pretty big upset. With that said, though, the Bills did play pretty decent against the Saints last week as they were able to win by double digits. But like I said, still a game they're going to have to play pretty well again if they want to win it. But nonetheless, the Patriots last year when they were here in Buffalo, again, they were like 3-11 or something. They gave the Bills a run for their money as they ended up only lost by 3. And again, we're up by, I think, like 2 touchdowns at one point in that game. Drake May played a pretty good game in that one as well. But this game will be 8:20 on NBC. You can also, again, see it streaming on Peacock, NFL Plus as well, NBC Sports app, and Universo for all that. Football Night in America, again, gives you everything. Coming up to the game, I think that starts at 7 if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, announcing this game as always, Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. For the weather in this game, pretty interesting. It's going to be, that's not even close to right. There we go. No. Yeah, there we go. 75 degrees, a little bit of wind, but clear. Yeah, pretty ideal weather for, again, if you're a Patriots fan watching this game. For the Patriots, though, Drake May is at quarterback. Ramondre Stevenson, Trayvon Henderson are in the backfield. Anthony Gibson's also there. Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins at receiver. Hunter Henry's at tight end as well as Austin Hooper. Jack Westover is the fullback. The offensive line is healthy. Lane Robinson, any update on his return? You bet not. For this defense, Milton Williams questionable is a pretty big issue. Corey Durden would go. I know. I honestly think they give the nod to Josh Farmer. Whoever they feel has been more consistent. Curtis Tunga, Christian Barmore on the rest of the D-line, though. K'Lavon Chaison's out off the edge. He's been pretty good. Keon White still getting a lot of pass rush snaps. I'll see if he can actually be good against the run this week. Rest of the edge rushing and linebacking group are good to go, though. Carlton Davis questionable in the secondary. Charles Woods is also there. And the rest of the, again, secondary is good to go. Craig Woodson, again, has also been good at free safety. But Kyle Duggar, bro, how is he not starting? Andy Borregals, Bryce Behringer, and a bunch of shenanigans going on in the Patriots special teams unit there. For the Bills, though, they got Josh Allen at quarterback. James Cook, who I'm not mistaken, is second in the league in rushing there. Again, also leads the league in rushing touchdowns. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, receiver. Dalton K, Dawson Knox are at tight end. Reggie Gilliam, the fullback. O-line is healthy. Spencer Brown, again, being the only exception, being questionable. Ed Oliver's questionable as well. TJ Sanders also being questionable. They got a lot of things going on in the D-line, again, with Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi both being suspended. Again, I think 6 weeks for both of them, if I'm not mistaken. Matt Milano's questionable. Dorian Williams is out, though, for this game. The rest of the linebackers are healthy. We'll definitely see a lot of Shaq Thompson in this game. Max Harrison still being on IR. Trey White's been pretty good this season. The rest of the secondary is healthy. Dorian Strong being out, though. Matt Prater, Mitch Wishnowsky, haven't heard of him in a while. Brandon Coggerton and Reed Ferguson round things out for the Bills. And for this game, I'm going to put this one in, entertaining, because there's a chance this game isn't close. I see it being close, though, so. But again, there's a little bit of risk there, so I'm going to keep that entertaining. Should be a fun, a newer Sunday Night Football match. Again, we're not used to seeing these two teams playing in primetime there, again, at least the past 4 or 5 years. For that, though, who am I picking to win this game? Obviously, I'm picking the Bills. Again, Patriots think will put a pretty similar performance to last year, but they won't come close to winning, or not come close. They won't win this game. I'm going to say the Bills win this one 26-24. Again, maybe not that close of a game. I think it may be like Patriots late touchdown or something. But that's what I got there. That's all I got for you guys here in Week 5 Sunday predictions. Again, hope you guys enjoy all the games. And yeah, here is the here's what last time to happen in LA. But we got the Monday Night Football prediction. And also, guys, stick around for the recap of all these games tomorrow as well. Tomorrow night, probably late. That's what I got there.
For Los Angeles, Rivers, great protection. Rivers, deep shot, separation. Tyrell Williams. Williams has got the angle. He's gone. Touchdown, Chargers. Phillip Rivers on the money for 75 yards.
Well, he had a 75-yarder earlier in the season. It's just a post route. Josh Norman is just left in the dust. Good ability to track that ball, make the catch, and